getting knocked out so early in the tournament. Of course, though, very early on in this series, two kind of commanding wins. Rise just kind of had a blowout in the first respawn. The S&D, a bit of a blowout in favor of H2k. So thinking that Uplink is going to be tying things together. And, you know, you called out the Shiva. The first thing getting banned, the first thing that gets the boot is that Shiva. Rise does not want to deal with Fizzurp anymore.
I don't want to say that I helped Rise Nation in that situation, but Looney was kind of walking by. I did say the Shiva needs to be banned, and maybe he heard me. Maybe I'm actually giving secret strats to Rise Nation as we speak. I could be their coach possibly next event. You think that's possible at all?
No, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Rise, though, going for some similar bans across the board. This is like the 5th or 6th time I think we've seen them get rid of both the flashbang and concussion. So pretty straightforward stuff. Of course, overdrive can be incredible to use, and uplink just getting those quick scores. So that's going to be gone like we've seen so many times. Yep. Rapid fire, high caliber, always going to be gone. Kinetic armor, we see it gone all the time. And then I think I covered everything. I don't know if
you did.
It's very straightforward with the exception of the Shiva.
You did do that just perfectly, as we do obviously head into our specialist draft. Kinetic armor, and like you mentioned, overdrive not going to be in this particular game. Overdrive completely changes the tide of the overall series. We'll go ahead and go look at the line of Rise Nation's overall specialists for this game number 3. Looney going for Heatwave, Octane with the Scythe. Nothing really surprising about Octane going with the Scythe. You know, dominant Slayer when it comes to that AR. Classic going with the Annihilator. I don't know if that's always typical of him from what I've seen. But either way, he decides to go ahead and run with it. You know, kinetic armor is something that he always likes to kind of run with, so that might be his secondary option. Slack going with active camo, and for the side of H2k, we have Lacefield going with Heatwave, Legal active camo, Fizzurp, the Scythe, and Fears with the ever-endearing Annihilator. I think he's honestly one of the best Annihilator players that we have in the current game. You know, even at the Totino's 50K, he was making some highlight plays and you know, picking up like 3 and 4 pieces with it. So that obviously could come down to uplink, as we do see a couple of those weapons coming out, as it will be 2 and 2 splits for the weapons and the abilities for both sides.
Yeah, funny Annihilator story, actually. This is going way back to the Black Ops 3 beta. It was at the MES event of all things, and we're just casually playing, like, before matches start, stuff like that. Looney comes up. He's like, I haven't played the Black Ops 3 beta yet. Can I give it a shot? The first thing he does is picks up the Annihilator, or like utilizes it, whatever, and gets a 3-piece, and then he just sets the controller down. He's like, I think I'm good at this game. And like, that was the entire thing. Of course,
so that was
he's
Looney?
going Heatwave now. He's been on Heatwave pretty much this entire series and the past series. That is kind of his home, and he's been doing incredible things with it so far that we've seen. Looney's been playing like a monster, except in the last S&D. But I do expect that Rise is going to be able to bounce back quite well. It's either going to be a close game or Rise is going to blow them out, though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And speaking on the topic of Looney, you know, throughout Advanced Warfare was absolutely a rising star. That was a joke. Not he's on Rise. I mean, not anything like that. No, he was a rising star. You know, kind of started off on TK, but later made his way over to Envious, where he was just a dominant Slayer for the roster, and kind of made his name. You know, it's really good to see that he's back on the roster. That kind of made his name really well known back in Ghost. And you know, we'll see how Looney kind of fares off in this uplink. Definitely a talented player when it comes to hardpoint. I believe Maven's mentioned countless times that that's probably one of the better players when it comes to hardpoint. You know, constantly getting in the hill and constantly grabbing those kills, which leads to a lot of Rise's success. You know, they're currently sitting at 7-3 in the overall league, and he's definitely a big part of that overall record. But obviously, it is currently 1-1 in the overall series. As we get ready to hop into game number 3, looking to see who can probably get that advantage. As you know, looks like Breach getting ready to load up.
Yeah, and I think off the get-go, I'm going to be on board with Fizzurp because if you recall from the first hardpoint, statistically speaking, Fizzurp had the worst game on his team, right? His job in the respawn game modes is to be putting up the numbers. Him and Lacefield are the guys to be looking out for it. And Fizzurp did not follow through in the first respawn, and that was a big part of the reason why Rise just had a field day and won by 100 points. So I'm looking for Fizzurp to step it up in the slaying department to help his team out to potentially go up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, we'll see how that kind of fares off. You said Fears, or no, you didn't say Fears. You said Fizzurp and Lacefield, the guys to be watching out for. We'll obviously hop on board with Fizzurp off the break and see how and if H2k can finally take a respawn against this dastardly Rise Nation squad, as it will be. It looks like H2k going to be on that bio side. And that drone going to be spawning off in the middle, early control. And obviously, if you do get that palace spawn trap, definitely going to be something to note, as that can be absolutely deadly when it comes to this game just in general.
Well, it looks like Rise is playing a little bit more aggressive on the drone. H2k sending 2 players on the flank. Fizzurp is able to pick up a kill, but Octane shuts him down very quickly. Now Octane's going to be taking the drone as well. You see H2k is going to be behind him, but he might just be able to outrun these players. He gets shot in the back, but he is going to have a little bit of armor, but he knows the players are spawning up. Going for the 1-point toss, and that is a 30-second score. Very quick. Octane does get shut down. down, but that is definitely a trade you are willing to make.
Yeah, look at Classic. He's going to go in a little bit of a wall run type of situation, trying to find this player off the break. He has the Kuda in hand. He drops one, can't find the second, though, as that will be H2k now with the drone in their control. As he's just going to toss it in Palace. His teammate, you can go and take that one. I'll find the kills, but instead he's going to go and reference back and grab that one, or have his teammate grab that one yet again. Now, H2k definitely don't have the preferred side when it comes to this map, but there are possible opportunities for those one-point tosses. Lacefield with the drone in his hands. Fears. It looks like Lacefield leading the way, and this is a great play. Is Lacefield possibly going to knock in the dunk, and he does, so a great job there out of H2k to set that drone score up. Going inside of Palace and knocking in the dunk just in general is fantastic, and that will be a 2-1 lead in favor of them. Looney now with the drone.
Well, it looks like the Palace rotation is going to be something both sides are interested in. Now Looney's actually going to elect to go up top AC. But no, he's just going to be following up Classic. Classic is going to die, though. Looney's just going to hit the one-point toss, and he connects. And that's despite the fact that they were 3 H2K players just kind of hanging out in the base. So nice score by him to tie this one up at 2-2.
Yeah, constant counter after counter. Slack going to be still on these AC stairs. Why haven't they got him out of the base? But a fantastic shot coming out of Fizzerp, and now Octane with the drone in his hands. He's going to plop that one down, reset his drone armor, and possibly just toss that one out of the map. Now, he's going to kind of most likely toss that one out just because of the position on the map. And now, as Lacefield and the Fizzer both fall off the map, that might have been a little bit of an awkward situation, and Legals tries to get that drone out just to possibly stop the bleeding that is currently going on with his team. And now Looney has the drone in his hands. Most likely pass it off to his teammate Slack, and that's exactly what's going to happen. One-point toss most likely in our midst, as he's going to rock that active camo and soar right past one player. The player doesn't even see him. Can he clean up the kill? No. H2k able to clear him out of the base, but still a fantastic use of that specialist. And now Lacefield on that overextension to try and get another toss to bring this one back.
Well, it seems like H2k is definitely favoring this Palace rotation. We can see Octane this time is going to be set up for it. He is back in his spawn, has this pre-fired, and, well, you're not really going to get past that. You see Fizzerp is going to drop in that gunfight as well. So Lacefield's going to have to do something different. You see he's taking the drone all the way back into their base, going for the reset. Now, you spoke a bit about it earlier, how you think that Rise has the favored side. What makes that so?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Why is Rise on the favored side?
I think Rise is on the favored side just because, I mean, the amount of one-point opportunities that you can get, you know, whether you're ACs, whether you're, I mean, there's just so many different opportunities. You can see Looney is just using one of the possible shots that you can have when you're going through bottom lab. Is that actually drone gets escaped by Legal. Fantastic block there as he's going to be on the run. But just in general, I think the reason why, and why people kind of categorize Rise to be on the good side, is the amount of one-point opportunities, and also getting in through bottom lab can lead to a lot of tosses and overall dunks, as you're going to see Octane do exactly just that.
Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about the mistakes that H2k has made. We saw two players bump into each other for the wall run. They both fell off the map. That resulted in, I believe, a one-point toss coming in for Rise. And then right there, we saw Fears. Both of his teammates die. He turns. By the way, they are going to try to get a score. You see Fizzerp has the opportunity to get the one-point toss. Fears comes in with the hit.
No.
You see the heat wave coming in from Looney, though. Looney's able to shut that down, and he's making the big play to get the reset. So clutch stuff from him. Of course, Lacefield picks that one up, but no points coming as a result. But again, back to the mistakes that H2k is making. You saw Fears was in play, had the drone in hand. His two teammates fall. Instead of going for the reset, he throws the drone to the other team, towards his own base, and then they just say, okay, and then they go and get a 2-point play in the board. So H2k, a bit of sloppiness coming in from them, but still only a 4-point differential between these two teams.
Indeed, now with Fears, with all of his teammates dropping, we'll see if they can possibly kind of do a little bit better with the mistakes that they have been making as well. And you know, they are currently down by 2 possessions, trying to take a respawn off of Rise Nation will be the task at hand. Classic currently going to be over in construction. Plops the drone down. Will it fall off the map? But it looks like it hasn't. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he's going to pull up the Annihilator and do a little bit of pistol work. Can he find the kill? His teammate will do the work, and now he's going to have his teammate pick up the drone. So I like that play from Looney. Let his teammate obviously have the specialist in hand. And what other weapon would you rather have than the Annihilator? Well, that gets shut down. Looney now with all of his teammates dropping is going to have to go for the ball swipe. It's not going to happen. And now 3 down for Rise Nation. Lacefield from H2k has a possible last-second opportunity to bring at least a little bit of good presence to the H2k overall line score.
Yeah, it would be pretty huge if H2k can get a score in, but that drone's going to get reset. They only have 15 seconds. Legal does have active camo. He's going to be trying to make something happen. I believe he just ran past one player, going to the top greenhouse, has another play to deal with, and he is going to get shut down. Now, Fears is going to be there at the Annihilator, going for the 1-point toss at the end, and Classic gets the interception towards the end. So 2 big defensive stops coming in on the end of Rise. We saw earlier Looney was able to get a clutch heat wave to stop a dunk of all things, and then the interception is not too shabby either. So that is 3 points that H2k potentially could have had.
Look at that throw.
Yeah, and again, the mistakes, though, that H2k was making, they've given up 3 points. They could have had 3 points. So definitely a huge difference between these two teams.
Yeah, H2k just getting snapped on all ends as the defensive plays from Rise Nation have obviously led them to the lead that they currently possess. Now, obviously, the overall ceiling kind of favors Rise Nation. Maybe not actually. It might actually favor H2k just a little bit. But either way, a little bit of mistakes going on for Rise. I mean, for H2k, as Rise have been capitalizing on those. Slack getting on the early wall run, and he's going to have his teammates pick up one, tries to find the second, he's going to do so. So 2 down for either side. Looks like 3 down for either side. 4 down now for Rise, and Lacefield wondering what just happened to everyone on the map. Why is no one challenging me at this point? But he's going to push this one forward, trying to provide his teammates, once they spawn up, a little bit of easier map control, and he does have that heat wave in his back pocket when he decides to use it.
Well, he is going to spot one player. Heat waves him. Not sure if that's, Looney was making clutch plays with it somehow. I don't know where the hell Octane came from, but he did not hit many of his shots. He might have been heat wave, though, in fairness to him. But either way, Lacefield is doing a little bit of damage inside of the base of Rise. Looney, though, was able to pick up 2, and he's just going to sprint away with this. He has run past everyone. There is 2 players from H2k that have spawned up. He's going to see them, though. He's going to hit the 1-point toss, and again, Looney making big plays to either stop points or get his team points on the board.
Yeah, that's just the side that Rise is on right now. If you can get those players down and kind of get them out of position and in unison, be able to knock down those players. That's so big, and Slack just going to meet, I guess you'd say, hips with the opposition, and he's able to stay alive. He needs to reset that drone armor as soon as possible. He ends up dropping inside of middle. Statue legal now to pick up that drone and reference back, but either way, that is going to be a possible stop there out of H2k. They're going to be over in construction, possibly having those lead blockers do a little bit of work for him. There is a couple players referencing back the HDXD car possibly could do a little bit of damage, as it will be kind of setting up in base for the current time. As H2k trying to fire away any of these 1-point tosses. They have to do it right now, as that one's going to fall off and not going to be able to kind of compute that one, and that's kind of unfortunate there for the side of H2k. Just missing those 1-point tosses that's just unfortunate just in general.
Yeah, things are not going well for H2k at all, of course. Lacefield is trying to be a bit of a roaming slayer inside the base of his opponent, and you see the kills right now on the map are getting traded back and forth, but that is a 15 that happened. I'm not sure exactly where Classic threw that to, but now it is going to be actually 3 down for Rise, so H2k might have a moment. No, Slack is actually going to be the guy on the drone, but Fierce cleans him up very quickly. Either way, though, 3-possession game, or maybe even more. I think it's a 4-possession game now in less than 3 minutes. H2k certainly has their work cut out for him.
H2k have to do something and pull off something absolutely incredible. That drone going to be in the hands of, looks like no one, as that one's going to be reset. And now Lacefield, this is a big play from him. He needs to find some kills and rely on his teammates to do a little bit of work in that middle map. But Slack's doing a little bit of work. Fizzerp now on top base. He's also going to fall, and those nades coming out, and that's going to be a great play out of Rise Nation. They take out that possible push that was coming from H2k, as now that drone's going to be reset and coming down toward the middle of the map, as now it's going to be a possible 1-point toss for Looney. I'm not sure if that's a pass, or that is actually a pass. That is a fantastic pass, I might actually add. And now that drone's going to be in the hands of Slackton, has a 1-point, possibly a 2-point opportunity. He's going to knock that one in. So a beautiful play out of the side of Rise Nation. The pass coming in off the mistake from H2k, and it's just mistake after mistake for H2k. As Fizzerp now has the drone, he drops, and Rise Nation just countering everything that H2k tries to pull off.
And look where Lacefield is. He's over there trying to spawn kill in the base of his opponent. That's where we've seen him for the majority of this match. He waves, gets the dunk in. Still a 5-point game, but how many times have we seen him? He's just completely by himself. Rise just says, okay, they go out to mid-map, and then they have the man advantage when they're pushing forward. And obviously the last play they got a point in just to bait like a sneak cap, because they have man advantage over in mid-map. Things are not going well for H2k. They need to switch up their game style, and of course Slack not going to miss that 1-point shot, taking that 6-point lead.
Oh, God, I almost, okay, well, there you go. Slack took it, just absolutely just, that was disturbing what he just did. But either way, like you mentioned, H2k just not really having a whole lot of team pushes together. It seems to be they're pushing things in ones. Well, right now there is 3 players down for Rise Nation. Legal, the last player alive, and he's going to be nowhere near that drone. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Octane with the drone in his hands, and he really, he's just going to throw it off the map. Has no reason to kind of do anything with that, as this is looking to go in favor of Rise Nation. The respawn's definitely favoring their overall playstyle. The teamwork has been on point, and H2k, the amount of mistakes that they've made has just kind of been absurd, and it's just been a lot of issues with those guys in general, as this one looks to be in favor of Rise Nation. And I mean, Octane, when he has the ARs, I think he's pulled out what? He's pulled out the M8, he's pulled out the ICR. You talked about countless times how he loves, and he's so good at using every AR possible. This one is just like a train getting ready to run on. Looks like Octane in the base, and Classic fire in yet again another possible 2-point play, but it was going to EMP, tosses it either way, and that's going to be 11-4 for Rise Nation.
Yeah, and I did just miss a 3-piece by Classic with the Annihilator, so those things happen, unfortunately, but really, for Rise all the way around, pretty nice game. Even Classic, who's sitting at -10, has quite a few uplinks to his name, I do believe. Of course, Octane is just going to be pouring it on, hits that one. Classic is going to fall off the map for whatever reason, but doesn't matter at all. Rise with an absolutely commanding win. Another one in respawn for them. So good looks. They're going to be up in the series now, 2-1.
It is indeed in the last second opportunity for Lacefield to make that score look a little bit better, but it's not going to go through, as it will be Rise Nation taking this game number 3, 12-4, as they're going to go up overall 2-1 in this series. So a fantastic job out of Rise Nation. They're feeling pretty good about that win. And like we said, only a couple of wins away from possibly making their way to the grand finals of UMG South Carolina. So something to kind of note there as well. 2 respawns down. Rise Nation wins both of those. And, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, H2K, I mean, they can win the search and destroys, but just in general, I mean, you have to at least win 1 respawn to take the series. You can't just rely solely on the search and destroys.
Sure. So let's say that's all that H2K needs to get 1 respawn victory. The next map is going to be Fringe CTF. So they can definitely pull this off, but really they're just going to have to make sure they kind of fix their sloppy mistakes. We saw in the S&D, the team nade kill coming in. It didn't have a huge effect on the match, but it did cost them a round. And then, of course, that last match, close game early on. Then we see 2 players bump into each other on the wall run. They both fall off. That results in a point. They had an opportunity to go for a reset. The reset gets missed. That results in a 2-point play. So a lot of these small things costing H2K in big ways. So potentially they can clean these things up for free. Fringe CTF, excuse me. But again, players, midway point of this series, they are going to be taking a bathroom break. So shout out to Scuff before we leave you, but we are going to be going to a commercial break. But when we come back, Fringe CTF.